Sorry. Hey folks, Leave here once again. Welcome back to another video. Hope you enjoyed my review of Shazam, which was really fun. I enjoyed that movie. Remember the mask profile picture? Again, thank you guys for the 246 subs. Keep on subscribing and watching. And thanks for the views and videos and the comments today. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody commenting. Everyone that does on my channel and watching and supporting my channel. And you can also share my videos as well on your Facebook page or Facebook story. If you're friends with me on Facebook, yeah, I really appreciate it. And remember, Levi Manelli 983 with the mask profile picture. Yeah, but if you see my other channel that I've been on YouTube for 12 years, I had another channel that was Batman Mask of the Phantasm profile picture. Do not subscribe to that one. Stay sub to this one. But anyway, guys, like I said, my review Shazam is on there. And guys, what I've been doing, Shazam starring Zachary Levi and Mark Strong. And anyway, what I've been doing, guys, is a superhero marathon on my YouTube channel. And I've been reviewing what I call the 2010s era of superhero reviews. These are movies that I've been reviewing that came out in 2010 decades, 2010 to 2019. And I'm on last year for movies. On the last year for these 2010 decades, that is 2019, that is the last year for these 2010s decades. And oh boy, this is my first time watching this movie. I love the first two movies from 2004 and Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. And of course, I'm talking about it's directed by Neil Marshall, starring David Harper, 2019 superhero film Reboot, the third installment of the Hellboy film series. This is the third one, a reboot, and that is Hellboy. Oh, and there's the actor who plays him, of course. Sorry, I guess I just did that by accident. Hellboy, yes. And this movie sucked. I hated this movie. If I can't make that clear, I hate this movie. Now, this film is rated R. I'll give it that. Now, I know I've been complaining about some movies that need to be rated, like Venom, but that doesn't matter if it's well. I mean, Hellboy. It was I would say it's an anti-hero. Yeah, I can see Hellboy being a rated R character. Yeah, well, not really. It looks like a monster, but he fights monsters. But in here, they try to play with him to be an anti-hero. This movie kind of reminded me of the 2004 film and some stuff, some scenes. Yeah, and oh, it's rated R. It never bothered me that the two first Hellboy movies were rated R, were PG-13. At least they had good stories. Ron Perlman was great. Guillermo del Toro, I can't say his name right, was a better director. When you don't have those guys making a Hellboy movie, when you don't have Guillermo del Toro, and maybe Ron Perlman, maybe they had a falling out, I don't know. Ron Perlman, from what I hear, he's going a little crazy now. But anyway, when you have those two guys together making a Hellboy movie, it's gold. It works. But when you don't, you get shitty films like this, and they just wanted to reboot it. Just because it's rated R doesn't make it any better. I can sit here and say Deadpool 1 and 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, those are better rated R movies. Blade 1 and 2, not Blade Trinity, that sucks too. I hate that movie as well. Yeah. Blade 1 and 2, the Deadpool movies, the Punisher movies. Today's the 21st anniversary of the Punisher from 2004. Which I'm saying that's a better movie. The Punisher in 1989, I will defend that with Dolph Lundgren. I don't care if it wears it, doesn't wear the scope. That film was more of a badass movie than this. Yeah. Punisher Warzone sucked. That was rated R. I don't like that because number one, I don't care for Ray Stevenson. Maybe rest in peace, but I'm sorry. I didn't like him. The villain sucked, and the story sucked. It was a cartoon. Even in here, at times it feels like a bit of R rating. They try to go bloody over the top with it, and it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not complaining. Sometimes comic films do need to be rated R. Yes, like some of the Sony Spider-Man movies, they need to be rated R. But this film was, but still didn't work. Why? And the problem was those movies, with Venom especially, and some of those movies, the story. Yeah, that's the problem. Watchmen. Watchmen's a better movie than this. Yeah, because it had a better story, and I like the characters. Yeah. So anyway, in 2014, Hellboy creator Mike McClune began work with. He was Mike McClune. Can't say his name right. I'm sorry. He's the one who created Hellboy in the comics. He worked with Andrew Crosby on the story for a new film. The project was initially intended as a sequel to Del Toro's Hellboy 1 and 2, with star Ron Perlman as the character. Del Toro was offered a producer credit but declined, wishing instead to direct his own script for Hellboy 3. Perlman refused to return without Del Toro's involvement, when Neil Marshall joined. It was decided that the new film would instead be a reboot, which made no sense because, yeah, the film did make money. On this $82 or $85 million budget, which is estimated to be around. It did get positive reviews from critics, and I think people liked it then, and it made money. Maybe not as much as money as The Dark Knight, but it still made money and did get it from its budget. You know, they could have made a third movie, but I guess Del Toro didn't agree with it, and Ron Perlman says I'm not going to be involved in it if he's not going to be, which I don't blame him. So Marshall signed on to direct the film due to not making a feature film in 9 years, also being intentionally intrigued by the horror pitch. In May 2017, McGlone announced that on his personal Facebook page that the reboot titled Hellboy: Rise of the Blood Queen would be directed by Marshall and star David Harbour as the character. McGlone also stated that the film would have an R rating. At the time, it was targeted for a 2018 release. Andrew Crosby has stated that the film would be a darker, more gruesome version of Hellboy. Harbour further stated on the film's rating R. This movie is gory. I mean, it's like a horror movie. There's a lot of blood in it. It's brutal. McClellan said that he would have a minimal involvement with the reboot, acting more as a co-executive producer, and without in pre-production or design, stating when the decision was made to do another movie, I got involved basically saying, you're going to do that story, don't do this, or change this. And I helped Christopher Golden, and I did a couple of drafts of the screenplay. Then the decision was made to do a reboot in 2017. The film dropped for Rise of the Blood Queen. There is one that does feel like a horror movie. It was actually two of them. It was called Hellboy Sword and Stones. Hellboy Blood Nine. When he fights the vampire, that felt like a horror movie. And even the first animated movie, those two movies are better than this. But anyway, when the project was announced, it was revealed that McClellan had written early drafts with Andrew Crosby and Christopher Golden, developed a new draft with Aaron Halid. On the tone of the film, Crosby said, Neil said from the very beginning that he wanted to walk a razor's edge between horror and a comic book movie, which was music to my ears, because that's what I was shooting for the script. McClellan confirmed that the film draws inspiration from Darkness Calls, The Wild Hunt, and The Storm and the Fury, but also pulls bits and pieces from other stories such as Hellboy Mexico. They did not want to make another origin story, feeling that Del Toro had already succeeded with that story. McClellan felt that the reboot arc gave the filmmakers an entry back into the world of Hellboy, allowed him to expand beyond the comic poster conquest, where Crosby retained screenwriter credit. Makeup designer Joel Horrell wanted to make the monsters and settings of Hellboy believable with the context of the world that they inhabit. The design team attempted not to present the designs of Del Toro films and took inspiration from the comics. They tended to stay faithful to the source material and would rely only on any new designs to make sure that they matched the tone of the comics. Earl added Harper's facial features and the attention of Hellboy sculpt to capture his likeness into the character. For Harper's, Hellboy gave an imposing presence after the Megan bodysuit were implied. From the horror version of Hellboy, they chose to make that version an amped up design of the regular horned Hellboy, stating, it gave him a larger jaw, a heavier brow, a more vibrant yellow eye look, larger teeth, and, of course, large horns. The horror version, by adding the score song, they made Hellboy feel gritty. Their approach for the rated R version of the character. This is with like a top knot was due to the version of Hellboy being portrayed younger than the comic. For the creature of hell, Hell wanted them to look different from the film's other beasts. David Harper was the first actor to be cast for the film in the role of Hellboy. Ian McShane was added as Trevor Bonham, playing it from the late John Hurt. Ed Serkin was cast as Ben DePaul. Daniel Day Cam was cast to replace Stern in the role of Demon. Can't say these names right. Thomas Haden had a role in the film as a vigilante, Lobster Johnson. Hellboy filming production began in September 2017 in the film in the United States. Filming wrapped on December 27, 2017 during Hellboy's opening weekend. Producers Lawrence Gordon and Lloyd Phillips had chosen to fire the original cinematographer and director Marshall collaborator Sam McGrath. It's just McGrady's termination was meant to be a message to Marshall that he was not in charge. I guess there was some issues behind the scenes with these writers, producers, and the director. They accused Marshall of encouraging the story. And I don't think they should let the writer do the movie. I'm sorry. Mike McGlone, he should not have been involved with it. Three insiders said that Levin frequently interrupted Marshall before the cast and crew during rehearsals and attempted to give the actors different directions from Marshall's. Singer denied the claim, stating that Levin talked to Marshall after rehearsals. That Harper would. Two insiders said that Harper walked off set, refusing to film more, refusing to film more takes for Marshall. Yeah, I heard some bad things about David Harper, but I've never met the man, so yeah. But who could blame him? You know, yeah. They Carol Levin had no recollection of the incident. Two insiders say that the script was rewritten on set. Harper and McShane rewrote their lines. Singer disputed that this was a common practice among film productions. Said that Marshall and Levin had debuted over the design of a tree. Marshall wanted a realistic design. Levin opted for a design and overruled Marshall's decision. However, Marshall changed the design during post-production. Singer denied the claim. The visual effects were provided by Mystery MX from Rise FX, World FX. But the music score was done by Benjamin Wallace. Hmm. Yeah. I don't remember much marketing for this movie, except, with the poster of Hellboy, when his horns doing this, something like that, or just standing up. Yeah, really crappy posters for this movie. The cast and crew did attend a Comic Con panel promoting the film. Yeah. It had its premiere in New York City on April 9, 2019, and released worldwide in the United States on April 12th. The film received negative reviews from critics, criticizing the aim of the story, the tone, the gore. They praised for the makeup effects and Harper's performance. The film bombed at the box office. Good. Then they made a second reboot, Hellboy the Crooked Man. They replaced Hellboy in that movie. Jack Gacy, Jack Kissy, Jack Kissy, whatever the hell his name is, got mixed reviews. Yeah. On the film's negative reception, though, Harper felt that the film was unfairly compared to Marvel films that reflected. We did our best, but there's so many voices that can go into these things. Yeah. Harper also expressed the doubts whether a sequel should be produced. Saying, I don't think that is this was a hit, and so that way, I don't know what risk it's worth. Harper said that he thought the film failed due to fans of the Del Toro film permanently dismissing a reboot that did not have involved Del Toro or permanent. Well, duh, David Harper. Yeah, you shouldn't have rebooted in the first place. And you know what? I'm sorry, David Harper. I don't dislike him as an actor, but I don't think he's that good as Hellboy. I think he's all right. But I'm sorry, dude. Even the makeup on you looks like crap. Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro's movies are better. Are they complete masterpieces? No, but they're better. They're more entertaining than this. One actress of the movies, Mel Jones, said that all her greatest films have been slammed by critics, or that Hellboy would become a cult classic. This movie, sure. Hmm. Due to past film and cult followings years after. Yeah, I doubt with this movie. I think, in due time, Hellboy turned 21 this year, or will be the first Hellboy 2004 movie. I don't think it turned 21. Did I think it did? Yeah. And the second movie was like what 16, 17 was 2008. Yeah. She praised her fellow cast members and director Neil Marshall for their work with him. Said fans would have a blast watching it, despite negative reviews. I didn't have a blast watching this. And going down to cult classic, Are You Drunk? Mm. Neil Marshall disowns the film, saying it was just god awful. It's not a film that I would consider to be part of. He blamed the producers for interfering his direction and zero principal photography. Well, maybe he shouldn't have made it at all. I do think David Harbour should have won. Yeah, this film deserved every Razzie thrown in his face. You know, deserved every Razzie. But anyway, for the cast, you have David Harbour as Hellboy, Agma Rum, a powerful demon who works for the BBRD, that is the Bureau for Permanent Research and Defense. Yeah, David Harbour. I know he was on Stranger Things. I like Violent Night. He's real good in that movie. That movie's blood and gore is a lot better than this. He was in, of course, the Green Hornet, which I do not like, as D.A. Frank Scanlon working with Seth Rogen. I did not care for that movie. Snitch, he was good in that. Walking on the Tombstones with um, Liam Neeson, he was good in that. That film was better than this. I'd rather watch that. Well, that movie came out September 2014. Okay. Black Widow as Red Guardian, I liked him in that. I know he's going to do Thunderbolts and Avengers Doom today. Yeah. Melancholia as Vanette Neat, the Blood Queen, a powerful British sorceress from Dark Ages who seeks to annihilate humanity. Okay, yeah, now I recognize her. She's from the Fifth Element. I don't think the Fifth Element got bad reviews. Probably got mixed reviews, but her saying this film was going to be great. The Fifth Element. Hmm. I don't really care to see the. I've never seen the Resident Evil movies, but I like her in the Fifth Element. You know, yeah. Fifth Element is better than this. First of all, the visual effects in that movie are beautiful, and a lot of the makeup is a lot done better. You know, and Bruce Willis, I'm sorry, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is a better lead than David Harper compared to this film. Ian McShane is Professor Trevor Rome. Hellboy's Dr. Father, the founder of the BBRD. Uh, Characters from the comics. Like I said, he's played by the late John Hurt, who is much better, I think. Ian McShane, though, I liked him in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Times. I think that's an underrated Pirates of the Caribbean movie. He was the villain in Agent Cody Banks and the Winston Scott and the John Wick movies. He's good in those, and I think he was in a biblical movie. Let's see, I know he was. I can just find him. But I know he played Judas Iscariot. And Hercules with Hercules, yeah, and voiced Tai Long in Kung Fu Panda and Kung Fu Panda 4. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth, yeah, he played Judas Iscariot. I remember him. Good actor. Saoirse Lane as Alice McConaughey, a young woman of part Irish descent who became a powerful medium after she was kidnapped by her fairies as a baby. Daniel Day Kim as Ben, a military and agent member. Due to supernatural encounter, can turn to a terrifying Waggyre, a jaguar, angered or pain. Tim Gorham and Douglas Todd as Roach, a pig-like fairy who was ordered him to exact revenge on Hellboy. I've seen this guy in any movies. Daniel Day came. Oh, he was in Annalise Hulk. Spider-Man 2. Sophia Opna as Lady Hutton, a resident Secret Heroes Club, an ancient English club dedicated to covering supernatural mysteries. I think I've seen her in Alice Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. I remember her in that. Better movie than this. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls with Jim Carrey. Now I recognize her. Yeah, she was good in that. The Wachati Princess. Yeah. Christopher Roberts, she was Kanga. Alison, Alistair Pedri as Lord Adam Glern, a high-ranking member of the Oasis Club. The Bank Job. Uh, Vendetta. Okay. Brian Glisson as Merlin, an ancient and powerful sorcerer. Philip Mitchell as Gundren. Mark Stanley as King Arthur. Thomas Hayden Church as Lobster. John's a vigilante with a violent reputation as he's killed mobsters and Nazis while burning his trademark. Pretty interesting character, but spoiler alert, he's underused in this movie. You only get him with one scene of flashback, and that's it. Now, you'll talk villain, I liked him as Lyle Vandergroot in George of the Jungle, and he was in Tombstone playing Billy Clanton. George of the Jungle, Spider-Man 3, even though I'd rather watch Spider-Man 3 over this. Even though it's hard for me to say that because I hate Spider-Man 3, but at least Spider-Man 3, that film had better action and better special effects. The rest of it sucks, though. Alright. It's directed by Neil Marshall. Ooh, it's directed films like Dog Soldiers, which I heard that movie, so I'm curious to see that movie. Doomsday, Tales of Halloween, this movie. Not too many movies I've seen him. Screenplay by made. Oh, okay, he's an American comic book creator. Okay. I guess writing a script for the movie was not his best option. When I'm looking here, I don't really see that he's worked on much movies, except this movie. Yeah, don't write a movie up again. Just take the comic books, Andrew Gosby, because you cannot write a film to save your life. It's produced by Lawrence Gordon. I feel like I've heard before that name before. The Driver, The End, The Warriors, Predator, Leviathan. Better movies than this, and those films are rated R. Die Hard's a way better movie than this. The Rocketeer, comic book film, PG, but it's better than this. Die Hard 2, another 48 hours. I haven't seen that, but I'd rather give that a chance over this. And he did work on the first two Hellboy movies. Mike Richardson, uh, writer for Time Cop, Barbed Wire. Never seen that movie. I know it's a superhero film, but I never reviewed that because I felt like it'd be more like watching a porn with what's her name, Pamela Anderson. Yeah, but Mystery Men, 1999. I love Mystery Men. I'll try to watch Time Cop too. Oh, Son of the Mask. Oh yeah, that film sucks. Hellboy, Sword of Storms and Blood 9. He worked on those, the animated ones, and Hellboy 2: The Girl Normie. This movie, Legend of Tarzan. Oh, he worked on RPD and Legend of Tarzan. Yeah, because those movies are such classics. Yeah, and this movie and Hellboy: The Crooked Man. And he worked on some anime series like Time Cop, which I don't think is animated about. The Mask anime series, which I've been wanting to check out. Lloyd Leviathan. Lloyd Leviathan. Die Hard. He was a producer on that, but uncredited. K9, Die Hard 2, Predator 2, executive producer on those movies. Again, movies I'd rather watch over this. The Rocketeer, Mystery Men, and Watchmen. He worked on Watchmen. Okay, cool. Watchmen's a better movie than this. Centaurus by Lorenzo Centeno. Can I say the name right? Worked on movies like Post Impact, Boogeyman 3, Star Trek Troopers 3, Wrong Turn 3, Left 4 Dead, Double Identity, Mirrors 2, Ghost of War. Production company Summit Entertainment. Distributed by Lionsgate. I can't really talk. I'm sorry. But this movie's really stuck in my mind. But 121 minutes. Film's about 2 hours and 1 minute long. So at least it's just 2 hours. That's it, just 2 hours. But I mean, 2 hours, it's just 2 hours. Thank goodness. The budget was $50 million. The box office made $55.1 million. So it didn't even surpass its budget. So it was a flop. Yeah. Oh, I wonder why. But anyway. So if you've never seen the Hellboy, the 2019 film, don't watch this review. And And if this review does encourage you somewhat, watch the movie. I would say just watch it one time. But if you watch it, I feel sorry for you for what you have to go through while watching this film. Anyway, for the story of Hellboy's 2019 reboot film, the story is that while battling a trio of rampaging giants, the legendary half-demon Hellboy encounters Numa, the Blood Queen, an ancient resurrected sorceress who is out to avenge a past betrayal. Suddenly caught in a clash between the supernatural and human, Hellboy soon becomes hell-bent on stopping Numa without triggering the end of the world because he's convinced that Hellboy's, he's the son of the devil, so she's trying to get Hellboy to join her side, get his horns to come up, so hopefully become evil, that monster, get that monster out of him. And Hellboy has to team up with this girl and the guy that can turn into a fucking cheetah, jaguar, whatever. And the girl, turn to what she needs to turn in, and they have to defeat her, along with this warthog who wants revenge and wants to kill him. So she wants to take over the world or end the world, and Hellboy has to stop her and defeat her. Alright. It's not like I'm tired. Yeah, I fell asleep to this movie. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about the movie itself the best way I can. Forgive me if I've only seen it one time and I have no desire to really watch it again. But the movie opens up with open titles and a narration from Ian McShane. Not like I've seen in any other Hellboy movie. Like Hellboy 2 The Golden Army, or the first film, a bit of an iteration. Like cliche I've seen in many other comic book films where we always get a narration, because we have to know the story. So it opens up in the Dark Ages with Nima talking to King Arthur. He wants to make a deal with him, and he's going to make a deal with her in England, but he betrays her. There's a covenant, and he uses a silver to dismember her, so her body becomes dismembered. Her sister betrays her. Her sister betrays her, and she swears revenge. She's like, "I will have my revenge, and I'll be out." And the film takes place maybe what 5,000 some years later, in the time of King Arthur. Her sister betrays her, and then in present day. Anyway, Hellboy is talking to his father, talking to him Shane on the phone, saying, "Father, I won't call you. I ain't gonna call you." And David Harbour, even his voice is irritating. I don't get why he gets praised for his performance. I mean, and the makeup for Hellboy looks terrible in this film too. I mean, oh my gosh, this film was what I said, $50 million to make, and the effects look terrible. But anyway, forget to that. His friend is a wrestler who he knows, and I don't know why they have to open up with this, but we open. He's doing it again to, his friend's like a wrestler. This is a PVRD agent, a friend of his who I don't know who this friend is. Why should I give a crap? Why do we have to know this? Why can't we just open up with Hellboy taking on monsters? Yeah, we don't get that in this movie that much. Well, we do, but not right away. And I'm like, why do we need to see him go on a mission? Abe Sabin, Abe is not there. Honestly, Doug Jones, his makeup and Ron Perlman's makeup is better than any makeup in this movie that they put. But his friends like basically were like, come on, friend, you're not like this. Like Hellboy tries to talk him out of it, but he's got that arm, the right hand of doom. Now I got right hand of doom. Fights his friend, has to kill him. He's like, no! And he's like a vampire, but it's like a horrible CGI. Tells him that the end is coming. Hellboy's just passed out drunk. These PRP, these the paranormal agents, I'll just call them that, come and pick him up, take him home. He's talking to his father, you know, cutting the parts of his horns a little bit. And he's like, well, we need to send you on a mission. He's like, I don't want to go on a mission. Oh, there's a mission to go on. But Hellboy has to do it since he's talking about the end is coming. So his father adopts him to assist the Oasis Club in their hunt for three giants. So Hellboy goes there, they greet him, say hey to him, is like, just tell me the story, just get to it so I can get to the killing now. Yeah. He's informed by their seer lady hating the lady from the Wachiti the Wachata princess from Ace Ventura when Nature Calls. That his father was meant to kill him when he first came into the world as the result of the Nazis' Project Ragnarok. Meanwhile, the Warhol character, whatever his name is, he's informed by this lady, this ugly creature. The thing is, this film tries to be horror and a comedy. It's not really consistent with the tone. And I'm sorry that we're messing up here. And, so they have to go look for the queen. The Warhawk does it, though, by biting some people's heads off. And, I don't know, I forget the damn pig's name, but he's like, "Oh, what's the queen at? Oh, you monks, you can't talk to me." You know, fuck, what's the queen at? They're yelling, scream all the time. I'm gonna talk like this. I'm gonna scream. Really over the top character, and the Warhog, the CGI for this character looked awful, looked really bad. Yeah, but and then we see that's where we got Thomas Hayden Church as that lobster guy character, whatever. He's just in here for 5 seconds, and that's it. It's pretty cool. I'm like, wow, why couldn't Team Boy Hellboy team up with him? Why couldn't we start it off with that? That'd be a nice way to start off the movie. Then maybe him be there and have somebody play. I could definitely see that. hmm Oh, the boy like fairy Groucho, that's his name. Groucho is arrived by the baby baby Yaga lady to retrieve the piece of note, so she may grant his wish for revenge against Hellboy and her revenge too. Hellboy goes and hunts them. He rides with a horse, and he's betrayed because they stab him. And Hellboy, honestly, they take. I'm like, really? They're just men. They're just human. Hellboy is a monster. Yeah, he's some devil. He's a huge guy. He gets stabbed like a wimp. They stab his ass a couple times and electrocute him until one of the big monsters takes him out. So I'm like, wow. Feels like we're in what 20 something minutes in this movie, 25 minutes in, and Hellboy's always getting his ass kicked. And they're wearing like animal parts on their head, and it looks stupid. The guy gets killed by monologuing. Hellboy wakes up, he fights the giants, which I didn't really care. The CGI was awful. Yeah, okay, some cool blood shots. Yeah, this movie's just trying to be like a cartoon with the blood, just throwing it in there. You know, the Crow. Talking about the first Crow. Hell, even the Crow City of Angels has some better action scenes than this, or the Crow. Uh, what am I thinking now? The Crow Salvation has some better action scenes than this, better blood in it. Deadpool movies do. But yeah, he fights him with this giant CGI sword, takes him out. You know, it's like finally we see him fight monsters. But when you do, but that's by this point I'm just already bored. You know, and I guess he gets knocked out for some reason or passes out. And then he is met by Alice. She's this medium that he once rescued from fairies and a baby. So the stories go that these fairies attacked her and that it was the warhog that he went up against, and you see Hellboy in the past year, and the baby goes up the chimney. This evil devilish baby goes up the chimney, and he's like, he's just screaming real loud and being obnoxious. But eventually, they just drop the baby off. No fight or whatever. The fairy monsters, don't want to fight Hellboy. They just ding dong, drop the hell. Here's the real baby. You see, I was like, and that's it. Okay, yeah, what a fantastic story. Didn't care. And then, Ian McShane, he comes to get a SWAT team on him, retrieve him because they're just eating food there, talking. And the actress is a pretty lady, but her English accent was terrible. They're introduced to this guy Ben Damon. They join team. They head to the club. They find the club slaughtered. Alice, when she touches somebody, channels the spirit by touching their head. It's like out of their mouth will open and their spirit will come out. She reveals that Nemo seeks Hellboy to cause the apocalypse. Her arm is taken by Grudge, and and Hellboy fights with him. Fights with Grudge a little bit. Grudge is just taking pictures like, "Oh, my master, lady, my queen, my serve, I will serve." You know, gets the body parts like he steals from the monks. And Hellboy, she's like, "Hellboy, you're not made of this world. We belong together." And distracts him long enough. You know, Hellboy shoots at Ben. He's like, "I missed." Mm. Hellboy was that Grudge is challenging as a changeling who took baby Alice's place before Hellboy branded him with iron, forced him to return to Alice. Grudge hates Hellboy for taking his chance to be human. Whatever, I don't even really remember that. Didn't really care. Then they go to the MI6 headquarters, where he never uses it in the movie. He's about to, but he knows got like this special bullet to kill Hellboy, just in case Hellboy can cause the apocalypse, the end of the world. Just in case, have a special gun to shoot him. He has an argument. Him and Amy have an argument. What do we do first? Stand on the feet must not mess the world up. Walks away. I did find it funny, and David Harbour, even his acting is really bad and over the top, and he's punching the doors like, "Come on, I want to go up, I want to go up," and it goes down, and he goes to Baby Yaga, who's does look pretty creepy in the makeup, but then we get now you screw it. The effects look terrible. You know what? The tall looking queen that Savannah Blair's character, that Hellboy needed his girlfriend to come back to life. That looked a lot more creepier than this, a lot more scarier, and had better special effects and makeup. Del Toro's films have better special effects, have better makeup. The characters. Guillermo del Toro seems to know a lot about that. Yeah, yeah. That's why they work David Harper, and plus they have better stories too, more interesting. Yeah. Hellboy started giving up one of his eyes for location, but Hellboy says you can just have it afterwards. She encourages him to love his loved one. They fight. She pushes Hellboy out of there. She kisses Hellboy. It's just disgusting. Imagine if Princess Leia smooshed with Jabba the Hutt. Ooh, that's how disgusting it is. Yeah, and she eats babies and stuff. It's disgusting. Yeah. Damien reveals to Alice that he was a sole survivor of Jaeger attack. That's why he has a messed up face. And I guess because of that, that cursed him to be a jaguar. They arrive at Nema's full resurrection. Naima poisons Alice though for some reason. Well, poisons her because they go to her waking place and she demands these monsters to roll with her. He still offers it to Hellboy. She brings her sister. She kills the other two sisters. About to kill her sister, and she poisons Naima. She poisons Alice by sticking something there, right there in her neck. They go to the Wizard Merlin to save Alice. They get his living body up. Oh yeah, like in Hellboy 2004 when Hellboy was able to touch some guys, a dead guy's head and wake them up. They don't use that in here, I guess. Oh. And he also tells Hellboy, spoiler alert, that he's a descendant of King Arthur. Like, what? Saying that Hellboy's half human. I'm like, what? I don't care if that was in the comics. Somebody mentioned that, I think, but in a review. But even if it was, I don't care. That makes no sense. Yeah. He was spirited to hell by his father when offered Excalibur. Hellboy refuses it though. Merlin then disintegrates. The trio returns to London to find the staff and Merlin missing. They, he fights the Warhol again, Garage. He fights the pig again, and Demon turns into his form. And he comes close to killing Hellboy, giving whooping. From what I remember, he whips Hellboy's ass. Nemo shows up, don't do it. It's like, but my queen, I promise. And she messes up with his body. She just was like, "Queen, please, please, search." You know, trains him and uses her abilities, power to kill him. Hellboy refuses to pull the sword. Yeah, like we're trying to be Sword of the Stone here, but she kills Ian McShane, stabs him, and is like, "Dad, don't die." Like he grabs the sword. It opens a portal to hell from which demons emerge, which is all CGI. Channels Alice is able to channel Bridgman's spirit, to open up his mouth. Like, Hellboy, this isn't you. This isn't you. You decide who you are, not who fate is. Decide who you are. Yeah. Damien's about to shoot the bullet, but when he's transformed back into himself, that special gun, and basically he like stabs Nima. He cuts her head off and throws into the flaming her into the hell. She's like, oh. She dies. 6 months later, they raid a cult club where they find the water tank of Abe Sapien, and it tries to be. They try to throw some good music in here. Like you're trying to be like, if you're trying to be like Deadpool 1 or 2, even Watchmen didn't have no music, but Watchmen, when the action hit, it was more bloody and gory and better than watching this. Deadpool 1, 2, and Deadpool Wolverine, the action scenes are a lot better done and more bloodier than here and there. With this, it just the CGI blood is terrible. It seems like they try to turn this film into a cartoon, but they find Abe Sapien, who should have been in the movie in the first place. Oh, then you have a post-credit scene where Hellboy is consoled at the grave by the ghost of the hero Lobster Johnson. Maybe we're gonna listen to unforeseen since he got Hellboy with the promise of allowing him to finally die. I'm just reading. I don't care. I don't really care to see those post-credit scenes. And that's Hellboy 2019. And I am done talking about this crappy film. So to give my final opinion on this movie, and I'm sorry if I missed some things, but I don't find this film memorable. Plus, I fell asleep through it a couple times. I hated this movie. Number one, I hated the story. The story makes no sense. Hellboy being half human is stupid. David Harper to me didn't have no presence, imposing presence. No. First of all, Ron Perlman was perfect as Hellboy. He had the sense of humor. He could be brooding, but he was also funny, and he was entertaining as Hellboy. He was fun to watch. He was just awesome. He did an awesome job. To me, Ron Perlman, just like Christopher Reeve was Superman, Mal Keaton is Batman. Ron Perlman is Hellboy, and the makeup for him was a lot better, so much better. Guillermo del Toro's direction is much better too. You know, yeah. Because the story is that this sorceress who I didn't care, Melanie Jonas, I can't say her name right. The only movie that I liked her in was Fifth Element. But here she was terrible. She was just awful. She was forgettable. Didn't care about her performance. And I thought this one was boring. The action isn't good. The CGI is awful. The CGI here is terrible. The makeup for the Pigwort character, maybe for one for that lady, the baby Gaga character, the baby Yaya character, whatever the heck you call it. So the makeup was decent. I'll admit that. No ugly hag, but still makeup was good. But some of the but Del Toro, both of his movies have better makeup and special effects. You can say, oh, it's dated, but I think it's better effects. At least right away in those movies, we get Hellboy fighting crime and fighting monsters, which is what you get. You don't get that with this movie. This movie is just it goes from point A to point B, point C, and the pacing even felt slow. It does it all slowly. And the more I watch it, the more I miss interesting the beginning of telling her character and then seeing Hellboy wrestling. I'm like, who character I don't care about, and then jumping in, we just jump right into the story. I'm like, I've seen this from the Hellboy 2004 movie when Rasputin wanted to use him. Rasputin was a great villain in the first one, but I remember Rasputin and he wanted to use Hellboy, so it's the same thing. So you kind of just ripped off the first movie, and I'm like, that's all you did. He gets his horns at the end of the 2004 movie too, almost. But then him and Samuel Blair share a kiss at the end. You know, Golden Army was fun. It was entertaining. Yeah, I liked Abe. Jeffrey Tambor was an asshole, but I liked his character. I think his name was Jeffrey Tambor. But yeah, those two movies are more entertaining than this. Don't care if they were not rated R. It don't matter to me. V for Vendetta is a better rated R comic book movie than this because and Watchmen is because they have more interesting story. Punisher 99, Punisher 2004, Blade 1 and 2 because they have good stories. Yeah, that's why they work. Logan from 2017 is rated R. Better, better movie than this. Had a better story. Didn't understand what the heck his daughter was saying, but despite that, it was good to see Wolverine finally use the sword to use his claws for chopping some other efforts up. Yeah. But the problem with this movie is the story's not interesting. The acting by is bad. I didn't care for the Alice character, what she can do. Wow. The Damien character, he turns into a jaguar, yeah, and the CGI for that is awful. The War Pig Hog is the CGI character. He just dropping screaming all the time with loud more than fucking insane, dropping fucking f bombs all the time. You know, because all you gotta do is scream, "Oh, get the fuck out of here!" I'm like, what? And then even Ron Perlman, not Ron Perlman, I'm sorry. Yeah, even Hellboy. What is this? Hellboy looks terrible to me. I don't even recognize David Harper. The makeup is awful. The people who do these visual effects and this makeup, you suck. The direction, the writing sucked. The cinematography was ugly to look at in this film. The music score is trying to be epic and awesome. It sounds like it's trying to be a little loud, and it's obnoxious to listen to. Yeah, 120 minutes, 2 hours. 2 hours of this movie felt boring. Yeah, the first two movies might have been 2 hours, but they were better. Golden Army had a better story and a way better villain than this. More interesting story. Like I said, they're not masterpieces, but they're more entertaining than this. I'd rather watch those. Yeah, again, Guillermo del Toro. You know why David Harper worked? Because David Harper, because Guillermo del Toro, Ron Perlman did a fantastic job as the character, and the direction and the stories were good in those movies. They're entertaining. This movie was not entertaining. If I want to watch a good movie with you, I'll watch Violent Night. Violent Night came out in 2022. That's a better movie than this. That's like Die Hard with Santa Claus, and that's a better movie. Yeah, this movie's rated R, a little blood and gore, but it's bad CGI. It looks like a cartoon half time with the blood, and I thought it was. It didn't scare me at all. The movie's tone, it tries to be a comedy horror, then it shifts back to being comedy horror, so it's not very balanced with its tone, and it's god awful, and it's just boring. I hated every minute of watching this movie. What did I like? Can't really think about it. I was just completely bored out of my mind during this movie. There's one song I like in the movie, but despite that, the movie still sucks. The humor doesn't work either. Well, there are some times where the humor I'll admit, especially by David Harper, some scenes it can be funny, but I laugh because I thought his performance was bad when he's screaming and I can't understand what the heck he's saying, or when he's screaming or yelling. Half the time it's annoying. Ron Perlman didn't need to yell. Ron Perlman, when the guy in the invisible suit made him mad, he just punched him with the red right hand. Yeah, he won't get mad and yell at you. He'll probably throw a punch at you, but he won't scream at you. He didn't really need to do that. Trevor Timber, he's about to pick up that machine and throw something at his ass. But yeah, I was saying, Ron Perlman was a lot more funny, had a lot more charm. You know, yeah, he looked like a monster, but he had a good heart. He could be a big softy. He just looked like a monster to people. But that movie, the humor worked in that. Some of the humor here is laughable. I mean, it makes me laugh at the movie for how stupid it is and how bad it is. That's the only thing I'll give it was the humor sometimes. Other than that, the rest of the movie's a piece of shit. I hate this film. This is one of the worst superhero films ever made. Yeah. So my rating for Hellboy 2 2019, I'm gonna give this film a thumbs down. Thumbs down. My rating for the film is 1 out of 5 stars. Yes, it is that awful. Only the humor works. Everything else just sucks. Yeah. Story that makes no sense. A story that's boring and doesn't feel like a Hellboy movie. Just tries to be a Hellboy movie. I'll watch Blood and Iron. I'll watch two anime ones: Hellboy Sword and Storms, Hellboy Blood and Iron. Those movies feel like horror movies, and they were better. And the animation was a lot better, and the stories were a lot more interesting to me than this. And I reviewed those last year, and the first two Hellboy movies as well. They're better than this. Anyway, guys, tell me in the comments down below what do you think of the Hellboy 2019 film, directed by Neil Marshall and again starring David Harper. What do you think of this film in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? If you like it, why? And who do you prefer to be the best actor to play Hellboy? David Harper or Ron Perlman? I go Ron Perlman. And what is your favorite Hellboy movie? Including the two animated ones, if you've seen Hellboy Sword and Stones and Hellboy Blood and Iron. And have you seen the new Hellboy movie, Hellboy the Crooked Man that came out? I think it was last year. The Crooked Man. I haven't. I definitely tell that's going to try to be a horror movie, but I got a feeling that film is going to suck too, because without Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro, and I've been saying this like a broken record, without them, the Hellboy movie just doesn't work. Guillermo del Toro is a fantastic director. He made Blade 2. He can make a Blade 2 was a better rated R movie. This Blade 2 is a hell of a lot better and a better story. Yeah. Sorry, David Harper, but you don't got the sense to be a badass. You do on Fly at Night, and you're funny in that, and you're good in that, but Wesley Snipes as Blade could stumble you real easy, I think. Yeah. And the makeup is awful. Yeah, I can just go on with that. But anyway, I think it went far enough. I think I'm ending it here. So, good night, guys. And if I do another review, I'll let you know. Oh, by the way, the next review, this is a DC animated film. I'm going to look this up really quick. I'm sorry. Okay, it's another DC animated film directed by Sam Liu. This film is the 36th film of the DC Universe animated original movies. And it pretty much has really good cast in it as well. We have the late Kevin Conroy coming back as Batman, Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman, George Newbern as Superman. You know, it was great to, and I love the animation in this movie. But anyway, that is the 36th DC animated film. This, I say it was April 16th though, because it did come out on Blu-ray and DVD on April 16th, so that's what I'm counting it for. And I'm sorry, Justice League: The Fatal Five. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's on Blu-ray as well. But yeah, Justice League: The Fatal Five. Yeah, I got the film on Blu-ray. I remember really enjoying this movie, but Justice League: The Fatal Five. This will be my next review, so stay tuned for this. Justice League: The Fatal versus The Fatal Five. Versus The Fatal Five. I'm sorry, Justice League versus The Fatal Five. Yeah. If you love the 2000s, the show from 2001, this definitely has the. This has like the. This has the animation from the show, so it's kind of like if you were watching the Justice League cartoon, watching this movie will be feeling like watching the. But we'll get to that when we get to Justice League versus Fatal Five. So stay tuned for that review for some Brand of Justice, and stay tuned for my review of that. And let me know what you think of Hellboy 2019 in the comments down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me in the comments down below. And how would you rank the Hellboy movies, including the animated ones? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the DC animated film Justice League versus the Fatal Five coming up next. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Bye.